I'm Ben Tankett, and you are listening to The Lunch Break.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the host, guests, and callers, who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
Walk out on that field today. Ask yourself this question.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We ready! We ready! We ready! We ready! Let's go to the house! Let's go to the house!
When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it.
It's gonna be football now! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? It's hot now! It's hot now! Let's go! It's hot! We ready! Let's go to the house! Let's go to the house!
We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this, how we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up the chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from him. He's a man. He can be a hit just like us. He's a man. You already make the big money. He's a man. Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's war out there. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! Let's go, y'all! Let's go! We ready? Let's go to the house! Let's go to the house! It's a wrap. Game over.
Now this game is just getting started right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is our Throwback Thursday, and it is the day we got a special guest joining us. He's an award-winning broadcaster journalist off the East Coast, out there in the Boston, Massachusetts area, does several different things out that way. He'll be here in the second hour. Also, we're going to be getting updates today from the National Association of Black Journalists. That convention is going on virtually from the DC area. So we'll be getting some updates from there as well. But hey, a lot going on right here. NFL players have until 3 o'clock today to opt out of the 2020 season. But of course, that comes with caveats. If they don't opt out today, there are several reasons why they can opt out at a later date. So we'll be looking to see who puts their name on the list. If I'm not mistaken, NFL Players Association says that several players have tested positive for COVID-19. Let's see. Steelers coach Mike Tomlin has said that he's unsure if the NFL will complete the 2020 season. Let's see. Trying to see. Yeah, that's all I got right now. Let me see if I can't get the list of current players who have opted out. Here we go. NFL 2020 players who are opting out for whatever reason. Now, can we get this in our spirit? Because I see a lot of folks on Twitter, a lot of folks on Instagram, Facebook, and a whole bunch of other sites that I subscribe to that just go in on the players, calling them weak and soft, and you're afraid of the common cold, and the then they hit with all the stats. Well, this kills more people than that. Let me tell you something. Stop, for Christ's sake. What happened to good old-fashioned common decency? I just don't understand it anymore, and I mean it. If you have anything that looks like, sounds like, or rhymes with Christian, in front of your name or behind your name and you going after people like that, dude, quit the group. I'm saying, be like Jermaine Jackson and quit the group. Go out on your own if that's how you're rocking it. I mean, for Christ's sake. So anyway, let me give you this list. Arizona Cardinals, they have an offensive tackle by the name of Marcus Gilbert that has opted out. Baltimore Ravens kick returner DeAnthony Thomas and offensive lineman Andre Smith. Buffalo Bills defensive tackle Star Lutaliel. I know I said his name wrong. I always get it wrong. EJ Gaines has opted out. Carolina Panthers linebacker Jordan Mack, linebacker Christian Miller. Chicago Bears defensive tackle Eddie Goldman and safety Jordan Lucas. Cleveland Browns offensive tackle Drake Dorbick. Offensive guard Drew Forbes. Defensive tackle Andrew Billings. Offensive guard Kobe Gossett. Dallas Cowboys have a few folks that have opted out as well. They are going to be without defensive back Maurice Kennedy, wide receiver Stephen Guidry, and fullback Jamiz Alawali. Denver Broncos defensive tackle Kyle Pecco and offensive tackle Juwan James. The Detroit Lions defensive lineman John Akins, wide receiver Geronimo Allison, and center Russell Bodine. Green Bay Packer Devin Funchess. That's a big name. Devin Funchess was Cam Newton's go-to wide receiver back in the day. Houston Texans defensive tackle Eddie Vanderdoes. And that was a big name because Vanderdoes was scheduled to get a lot of playing time on that defensive line for the Texans, who, after losing DJ Reader, they were going to go at it by committee, and Eddie Vanderdoes decided to opt out. Indianapolis Colts linebacker Sky Moore, cornerback Marvell Tell, and safety Roland Milligan. Jacksonville, defensive tackle Ed Woods, defensive end linebacker Lorente McCray. Kansas City, a couple of big names for them for the defending Super Bowl champion. Laurent Duvernay-Tardif, he was starting in the Super Bowl. Damian Williams ran for over 100 yards in the Super Bowl. And offensive tackle Lucas Nyang. The Raiders defensive end Jeremiah Valonga. DJ Killings, defensive back and linebacker Yukemi. I'm killing these Nigerian names. Y'all forgive me. Yukemi Elagui. All right. Let me say this real quick. The Raiders did something interesting. They got on their Zoom conference call the other day, and instead of seeing John Gruden, their special teams coach was leading the call. And the first thing out of his mouth was, "I got bad news." All the players were like, what, coach? What? Head coach John Gruden has tested positive for coronavirus and is in the hospital. And man, everybody was shocked. Oh God, is he all right? And it went on for a few minutes. And then finally, the coach said, "That's not true. What I just told you was not true. But what it was an example to prepare you for what could happen throughout this season." And then he started talking about them taking the coronavirus very seriously because things could change just like that. 1 minute you're next to a guy, the next minute you're saying that the guy has contracted COVID-19, and it's all bets off from there. Oh, but AJ, more people recover from corona than die from it. If one person dies from it, that's one too many. Please, for the love of God or whatever you hold holy, please stop with it's no big deal. Anything that kills people at what other level is a big deal. So they use that exercise to try and get their players to take COVID-19 very serious. When I first read the headlines, I was like, oh man, here we go. The Raiders are just a joke. But then when I dug into the story, I said, you know what? That might not be a bad idea. Might not be a bad idea because at any given moment, that's what could happen. So I'll go down further on the list. Again, players have till 3 p.m. our time today to opt out for whatever reason. If you don't like the reason that they're opting out, with all the Christian love and compassion and agape and agapeo that I can muster, so what? They don't owe us an explanation for their personal safety. Be right back.
I'm Linda J. We all know Election Day is just around the corner. We want change. We need change. We can be the change. Exercise your right for change on Election Day. Don't talk about it. Let's be about it. So let's roll to the polls in record numbers, and we can make that change. This message is approved by KYOK 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOKradio.org.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who've helped people that have been injured or wronged. Have you been diagnosed with cancer? Are you one of the millions who have taken Zantac or other generic versions of this popular drug to help treat stomach issues? Then pay close attention to this message. The FDA said it detected low levels of a probable cancer-causing chemical known as NDMA in Zantac and other generic forms of this popular drug. They've banned sales and even removed it from the market. If you've been diagnosed with cancer and you've taken Zantac or a generic equivalent, call the legal helpline now. You could receive a free cash award and have your medical expenses covered. And there's no upfront cost to you. They only get paid if you win. So please call now. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. 800-251-7816. That's 800-251-7816.
If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 800-961-2730. 800-961-2730. That's 800-961-2730.
Having trouble getting focused? Getting your to-do list done?
Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you.
KYOK 1140 and 92.3.
It's inspiring. It's empowering.
It's life-changing.
It's called to inspire with best-selling author and motivational speaker, Dr. Sylvia Cole. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock here on the legendary KYOK, 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOK.org.
This is Brian Courtney Wilson, and you're listening to The Lunch Break.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. Oops, let me reach over here and grab this real quick. Don't forget, the Greater Greens Point Census Car Parade is going to take place tomorrow from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. The Grand Marshal is none other than Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. The co-Grand Marshals, Pastor E.A. Deckard and Bishop Shelton Beatty. They're going to drive by, honk, wave, and celebrate the Greens Point community being counted in the 2020 census. If you have not gotten counted in the 2020 census, be sure and go to 2020census.gov. That's 2020census.gov and get registered with the census. All right? All right. Want to get that out to you as well. All right. We're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I got text messages coming in already about my comments. Hey, listen, come on, man. I just don't know what else to say. I know you're entitled to say whatever you want to say, but I'm not going to quote scripture to you. Just because you're allowed to do it doesn't mean that you should do it. And if we are now expecting people to put their health, safety, lives, and those of their family, friends, and loved ones on the line to entertain us with a professional sport, I'm sorry, you've got a bigger problem than just what you're saying. I don't know any other way to put it. The shut up and play era, the shut up and dribble era, the shut up and throw the ball, or the shut up and hit the hockey puck era, those are over. I mean, those are over. These are men and women who chose to play a sport, but guess what? They don't have to play it if it affects their family, their friends, and their loved ones as well as themselves. They don't owe you that. I know you pay hard-earned money for your tickets. I know. But you know what? Just like you tell me that they made a choice to play, you made a choice to buy the ticket. No one told you that you had to buy that ticket. And just like on any given night, you bought the ticket to go see James Harden, Russell Westbrook, and Danielle House. Well, on any given night, you can go there with that ticket and Danielle is not playing, James Harden is not playing, or Russell Westbrook is not playing. You're not entitled to a refund. You made the choice to buy the ticket to see the Rockets. Yeah, you want to see James. Yeah, you want to see Russ. Yeah, you want to see Danielle. And I'm just throwing him in. But you're not entitled to that. That is not an unalienable right. And just like that's the case for you, it's the case for them. Yeah, they made a choice to play football or baseball or basketball or hockey, but they didn't make the choice to play it during a global pandemic that could kill them or their family. Oh, AJ, there you go. You're causing fear. Okay, if it doesn't kill them and it makes them sick, it's still as bad. I'm sorry. It's just reality. It's just the truth. I mean, it doesn't have to be an argument. It doesn't even have to be a bad thing. You know, the good thing about the truth is the truth, whether it's good or bad. You know, and trust me, if you just accept the truth, it'll free you up. It'll free you up. You'll be, okay, I didn't like that, but, at least I know the truth. Sports it's not a one-way unilateral contract. Sports is not all about the fans. I know. Trust me. I am a fighter for the underdog. I love the little guy or little gal. I fight for them. I mean, there are teams I'll root for that are not even I knew nothing about them, but because they're about to knock off a Goliath, I get behind them. So I'm not dismissing the fans. What I'm dismissing is the unreasonable fan, the narcissistic fan, the fan that thinks that ticket in their hand means that they are a god. You're not. You're a ticket holder. And you got a ticket to go watch a football game, a baseball game, a basketball game, or a hockey match. That's it. That's all you got. And you really need to read that ticket because there are more gotchas on the back of the ticket and in the fine print than what you think you're entitled to. Hello, you're live on the lunch break. Who's this?
Hey, Joe, it's Todd.
Hey, man, you interrupted my campaign speech.
You see Penn State ain't having no fans on the stands?
Well, yeah, okay, so Penn State doesn't have names on their jerseys and logos on their helmets. So if any school was not going to have fans in the stands, I would expect it to be Penn State.
That's a big domino right there. That's a Power 5 school, big conference. I don't see how the other schools couldn't follow suit. Brett McMurphy says today at 9:51 a.m. Penn State announces no fans will be allowed at home games this season.
Yeah, and watch this now. Watch this. I know this is going to underwhelm you, but add that to the fact that UConn has said no fall sports.
Yeah, I saw that yesterday.
And everybody's like UConn. Let's get it right. UConn is the toast. Used to be the toast of the Big East, especially basketball wise.
Yeah, especially basketball. Now, I'd be interested, man. That was a big name that caught my attention. I saw the UConn thing either yesterday or the day before. But now you got a big school, a school in a Power 5, big conference like a Big Ten. Penn State saying they're not going to do it. That puts pressure on those other schools.
I mean, again, when we had our conversation the other day, if UT is managing their budget to the dollar and they're supposed to do that, then I get it. I don't like it, but I get it. Now I can better understand why they're pushed to get somebody in that stands, those stands, trying to get some concessions sold and what have you.
Yeah.
But if that's not the case, and it's just, hey, man, we got to have this money. We can't live without this amount of money. Then we got to do something different. Stay right there, Todd. I got a quick break. We'll be right back with more right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM.
How'd you like to eliminate your expensive cable bill forever or get new satellite internet where cable can't go? Well, now you can have affordable satellite internet service for a few dollars a day. All you need is a mini satellite installed, and you can have unlimited internet connections wirelessly in your home or office. And no cable boxes means unlimited connections and no clutter. You can surf the internet or stream any of your favorite television services with no cable. And the best part is, satellite internet service costs only a few dollars a day for your entire home. Yes, fast internet to surf or stream television for a few bucks a day. Call now for free details and learn how to drop your expensive cable bill.
800-712-8044. 800-712-8044. 800-712-8044. That's 800-712-8044.
Having trouble getting focused? Getting your to-do list done?
Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you.
KYOK 1140 at 92.3.
It's inspiring. It's empowering.
It's life-changing.
It's called to inspire with best-selling author and motivational speaker, Dr. Sylvia Cole. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock here on the legendary KYOK, 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOK.org.
I'm Ben Tankett, and you are listening to The Lunch Break.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is our Throwback Thursday. Going to have a special guest be joining us in the second hour. Give us some updates from the National Association of Black Journalists convention going on virtually in D.C. But let me get back to a new fan favorite around here, Todd. They saying you should come on live. They love hearing you.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you letting me call in.
No problem, man. We have to get you on one of the live videos, bro, so they can see how fly Todd Malcolm is.
Looking like a young Vin Diesel, what my wife said, but go ahead.
Wait. Hold on, man. I wasn't ready. I had my mouth open, man. Amber said what?
Amber said I look like a young Vin Diesel in my prime.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you a couple of questions. Is her birthday coming up?
It is. It's on September 1st.
I'm not saying nothing. I'm just saying. I'm not saying nothing. I'm just saying. So, yeah, man. Whatever she said, that's what you go with, bro. That's exactly what you go with.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Vin, I'm sorry, Todd. So it is a big deal. It is a big deal. Big Ten, long time established school. We're not talking about some fly-by-night, little Power 5 or, Mac school or, Coastal Carolina. So no disrespect to them, but it's a big deal. And if they can find a way to safely get it done, it does make you wonder why UT, Ohio State, Clemson, Alabama, Georgia, Florida State, A&M, why they can't do it either.
Yeah, I think Penn State's just saying we want to play the game, but we want to reduce the liability of the fan component there. Just so much can go wrong if you're trying to put people in the stands. Of someone get the virus, they could come back and say, "Hey, you didn't have the safety precautions in place to keep me safe." That still doesn't eliminate them from if someone gets it on the field. a player's family could say the exact same thing. Man, I don't see theoretically how they could do it. When I'm looking at some of these numbers they're talking about reporting revenue losses. I don't know how they could play without the fan. I just don't see how you can even do it. I think of that same article, not the same one from Penn State, another one after that, they were saying Penn State was anticipating losing about $100 million in revenue, which makes sense. If the fans can't come, they're not buying merchandise too, right?
Right.
So it just compounds it. I don't know how you could even have the game. But I guess if you don't have fans, you don't need employees there for concessions and other stuff. I just don't think it's going to happen. I just think all this stuff, once we get to September, I just think eventually in a week it'll be another school. Maybe it's Maryland, right?
Yeah.
And we're not going to have fans either. And then that's going to grow. And then it's eventually gets to the point where they're going to say, man, we just can't do it. We tried, but 1 week after the next, more things just keep falling apart. It's just become so difficult. We're just going to cancel all the fall sports. We'll relook at things in the spring, and hopefully things are better.
Todd, even if an AD came out and said, hey, we're going to push it back till January, I would have more respect for that than we're going to push straight ahead. I like what and Willie Gibson, if you're listening, help me out. I thought it was the athletic director or somebody up at Ohio State says, hey, we're putting this stuff out, but all of it is contingent upon what happens then. Like they're saying, we're putting out the schedule now, but we're not saying it's hard and fast that we're going to play first week of September against blah, 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 blah. We're saying we're making the preparation now, but we understand that it is subject to change based on what's going on at that time.
Yeah, no, he's right. I mean, yeah, they're putting the plan in place. If it was, if it eventually happens, right? You got to prepare for it. You got to prepare for it if things fall in line.
Right.
So you got to be ready, and that's what he's doing. He's just saying, hey, we're putting all this stuff in place just in case. The situation gets better and we can actually play it out. But I just don't see it happening, man. I just, if for Penn State to do that, that's going to be the first one. You're going to see other ones follow suit. But I think some of these ADs, I've kind of see it. I think some of them already know there's not going to be a season, but they've slow played it. I think like Texas did because they want to be able to hold on to the money. Especially the season ticket holders, because you still have to pay for staff or stuff you got coming up in the future, right?
Yep.
So if let's say University of Texas, everyone called in today, because right now UT is making outbound calls to season ticket holders to see what their plans are, right?
Yeah.
Let's say every season ticket holder said, I want my money back. I could care less about your athletic department and what budget. I got a budget at my house I'm trying to take care of.
Yeah.
Need my money back. If, let's say every one of them did that.
Yeah.
They'd be in severe trouble.
Absolutely.
You would see massive layoffs, massive salary cuts. You'd have Tom Herman going maybe from $5 million to $250,000 for the year.
Tom, yeah, that would be that, man. You broke my heart when you said that. I lost my breath for a whole minute. Say it again.
Tom had to take that pay cut.
Tom Herman going from $5 million down to $250,000. There'll be pandemonium in the streets, man. I'm serious. That big tower down there at UT, that thing's coming down if Tom Herman goes from $5 million down to $250,000. I'm just telling you, man. I'm getting out on that front line. No justice, no peace. Real quick, Willie Gibson did hook us up. Big shout out to Willie Gibson up in Columbus, Ohio. He said it was the Big Ten commissioner, Kevin Warren, that made that statement that I said. And I knew it was somebody connected with the Big Ten. I got such a love for the Ohio State Buckeyes that I thought it was my team. That's all.
Man, it's going to be interesting, AJ.
It is going to be interesting, Todd. And again, I got no issue with preparation. You got to do that. Any good business person will tell you, you got to plan ahead. You got to go ahead and try and get in front of this stuff. But if you're not planning just in case something unforeseen or out of your control happens, then shame on you. And again, I'm not trying to down talk Alabama or the SEC or UT or what's the new AD down there?
Texas?
Yeah.
Chris Del Conte?
Yeah, I'm not trying to down talk Chris or anything like that. All I'm saying is it feels like that they're more focused on we gonna do it, and if it don't work, okay, well at least we tried it, as opposed to we're planning for it, and if it doesn't happen, well, we'll see what we do next.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I'm surprised. I mean, the high schools over here where I live, they practicing too.
Bro, you know what? I'm almost to the point where I say, don't even tell me that. I'm serious, man. That one right there is almost criminal.
The one that scares me about here's how the high school has no chance. It doesn't even make sense why they're attempting. They can't even test like Texas can, right?
I know.
Texas can at least have the resources where when the kids show up to fall camp, they can test everyone before they even get around each other.
Todd, check this out. Texas can run down to the School of Natural Sciences and run into a room there and say, yo, give me a couple of hundred rapid return COVID-19 tests, and somebody can spit those things out right there on campus.
Yep.
I mean, let's just be real. Yep. And here's the crazy thing. Prairie View can do that too, because they got those kind of facilities on campus. Yep. But I'm sorry. North Shore High School doesn't have that. Wheatley High School doesn't have that. Jack Yates High School does not have that.
Yep.
And just because Katy can afford it or Lake Travis can afford it doesn't mean it's right. If you can't do it for one kid, you should not do it for any of them. And I'm not talking about the testing. I'm talking about the safety and the playing.
Yeah, it's some schools across the country that I think I was reading something online where a school in Indiana opened or something.
Yep.
And I'm paraphrasing the story, but either a kid had it or a teacher or something like that.
A kid, yep.
They had to shut it down already, right?
Yep.
Well, that's.
Well, no. That ain't what they did. They didn't shut it down. So what they did was they quarantined the kid.
Okay.
And they asked everyone who was in any kind of contact with him to quarantine as well for 2 weeks.
Okay, so let me play devil's advocate to that, right? How do you really know everyone that was in contact with him? How do you verify that?
Todd, I'm feeling kind of saucy today. What are you talking about? It's a hoax, bro. It's a hoax. It's part of the deep state to try and get President Trump out of office. It's not real, man. There are more people that die from swallowing peanut butter and jelly than people that die from coronavirus, bro. It's the deep state. It's QAnon, man. There's a September surprise, October surprise coming.
Man, it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't even, like in some radio shows I listen to, like in the morning, it's like, we got to have college football. We got to have it.
For what?
And I'll listen to it. I was like, why? Why do we? It all sounds good. It all sounds good until something tragic happens. When something tragic happens, I'm going to see where those people are at.
I'm going to tell you what they're going to be there. They knew what they were signing up for.
I think at kids, high school and college, when you're young like that, you kind of still have that invincibility mindset,
Mm-hmm.
And I know I did. And when I looked at other people hear stuff on the news that was tragic, I don't think I ever, thought of stuff like that would happen to me. But I'm really surprised that a school district would take on the liability of that, something, because that's what's going to happen if something tragic happens to a high school kid, and they had an underlying condition they didn't know about, because the physicals they do in high school are a joke.
Yeah, real quick, Todd, I want to jump to what the NCAA put out yesterday. I want to get your thought on that because I thought it was kind of interesting. Let's see. Hang on a second. I want to get to the one that Big Mike sent me because it was concise. It was succinct. Okay, bear with me a second. Bang, bang. All right, so I got to turn it so I can read it. So the opt-out clause: all student athletes must be allowed to opt out of participation due to concerns about contracting COVID-19. If a college athlete chooses to opt out, that individual's athletic scholarship commitment must be honored by the college or university. What are your thoughts on that?
So if the player opts out, the university still has to honor the scholarship?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, I wish that they would add in scholarship and eligibility. Like a kid should not lose a year of eligibility because the world went haywire.
Okay, so if they do sit out, they lose a year of eligibility?
It's not in there, so I don't know the exact details, but it's not explicitly written in there.
Well, that'd be a good thing to know if, so let's say a UT player sits out, if they burn a year of eligibility, that goes back to putting the pressure on them of potentially trying to play.
Right.
Yeah, I think there should be an exemption for that too. That hey, if you sit out due to, this situation going on that wasn't, we couldn't see it ahead of time and such. Man, they should definitely be able to retain their eligibility. But man, if they have it where they're saying NCAA's like, nah, if you sit out, you're going to lose that year. Man, you're going to have some kids that'll say, man, I'm a senior, I'm a junior. They're going to feel that pressure to play.
Absolutely. And that's what, if the NCAA is serious about trying to take that pressure off the kids, then that's what they got to do. They got to keep that year of eligibility available. All right. So then you've got, so it says each division, speaking of eligibility, each division must determine no later than August 14th the eligibility accommodations that must be made for student athletes who opt out of participating this fall, or for those seasons or for those whose seasons are canceled or cut short due to COVID-19. College athletes and their families must know what their eligibility status will be before the beginning of the fall season. Which tells me they're leaving it up to the schools.
Yeah. I mean, they shouldn't have to burn a year of eligibility. Man, that doesn't make sense to me.
And you shouldn't leave it up to some jackleg football coach or crazy behind athletic director. I mean, you saw how they were holding these kids hostage before the transfer portal. I mean, they were petty as petty can be.
Yeah.
And now you got them in a locker room full of, kids that, they abandoned you. They're not your family. Look around you. That's who your family is. We got to keep a scholarship for them, but we're not letting them come back because the people in this room are the ones who we're committed to. You committed to us. Now we're committed to you. That's crap.
Yeah. No, yeah, I think you're right on that. Would a school that want to burn the eligibility of the player for the now if they're willing to come back later?
Well, what you're going to have is a log jam. You're going to have kids that are coming in.
Yeah, you're right.
So, the NCAA would have to do something with those additional scholarships. I mean, it's not an easy fix, but it's one that should be addressed as opposed to, hey, I'm opting out because the grandmother that's raising me, has one lung, and I can't go out there and play and bring that home to her. And oh yeah, by the way, I've got 2 more years left of eligibility. I want to play, but it's not my fault that Corona went wild. So you got to find a way for that kid to still be able to have that eligibility.
Yeah, I think that part will get worked out. I don't see, and that's a PR nightmare if you start burning people's eligibility left over what's going on.
But again, man, some of these coaches, bro, they don't even have that level of compassion gene in them. Like, that's a whole compassion gene by itself, and some of them have had it surgically removed so that they can just crush them with 3 yards and a cloud of dust. Todd, stay right there. Quick break. We're gonna come back with Todd Malcolm right after this on the lunch break on the Legendary KYOK.
Has someone in your family lost a job recently, and now you can't afford your mortgage payment? Or do you have a rental property and your tenants aren't paying you? Quick Cash Offer can come to the rescue and pay you cash for your home immediately. Yes, sell your home and get cash all over the phone without dealing with real estate agents and risking your safety by showing your home to lukewarm buyers. You don't need to lose your home to foreclosure. If you have any equity in your home, we will buy it and give you cash within days, all in a simple over-the-phone and virtual process. Call Quick Cash Offer now before the economy gets worse. Sell a home you can't afford or just don't want to get the cash you need today.
800-780-1431. 800-780-1431. 800-780-1431. That's 800-780-1431.
This is a potter's field. When people can't pay for their funerals, they are buried here. It is a lonely, desolate place, littered with unmarked headstones. No one visits. No one leaves flowers. But it doesn't have to be that way. For as low as $1 a day, you can ensure your family will have the money to pay your funeral expenses. We offer burial insurance plans that pay up to $30,000. Considering the average funeral costs more than $10,000, that's peace of mind for your family. There are no medical exams, your rates won't increase, and your policy cannot be canceled as long as you make your premium payments. Call now to get approved in minutes and ensure your final resting place is more than just a pauper's grave in a potter's field.
800-308-6729. 800-308-6729. 800-308-6729. That's 800-308-6729. Paid for by Final Expense Direct.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or injured at work, you have rights, and you may be entitled to money for your suffering. Don't accept an offer you get from an insurance company until you talk to a lawyer. And we represent some of the best personal injury lawyers you can find. Tough lawyers that will fight to win your case. And they're so good they stake their reputation on it by only getting paid if you win. So if you've been in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or hurt on the job, find out today for free what kind of compensation you may be entitled to. Call the legal helpline right now.
800-547-4170. 800-547-4170. 800-547-4170. That's 800-547-4170.
This is Brian Courtney Wilson, and you're listening to The Lunch Break.
All right, y'all, back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is our Throwback Thursday. Let me jump back with Todd over here real quick. Todd, there was one more piece to this. Medical expense. Well, two more pieces to it. Medical expenses is what came up next. Said member schools may not require student athletes to waive their legal rights regarding COVID-19 as a condition of athletic participation. Member schools, in conjunction with existing insurance standards, must cover COVID-related medical expenses for student athletes to prevent out-of-pocket expenses for the college athletes and their families. So those waivers that some of the schools were trying to get out there in front of these kids and their parents, yeah, they can tear those up because the NCAA is saying if you're a member school, you can't do that.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, if those kids decide to play, which, like I said earlier, I don't think that's going to happen, but if they do, all their medical expenses should be covered for taking some kind of risk.
Yeah, heck yeah. Forget that waiver, Doc.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even know why you would even sign a waiver taking on that kind of risk. But, man, it'll be interesting. I mean, it'll get close. I don't know how much time they have until the schools have to decide if they, going to make a go of this or not. I don't know if it's a month or I think UT was planning to play their first game September 19th. So I don't know if it's up until then, they're going to attempt it or, what's the, the real cutoff to this thing, if they can pull it off or not.
So wait a minute, UT's not getting started until the 19th. Hang on, I thought they were going to try and play sooner than that.
Yeah, I thought I saw earlier in the week the Big 12 proposed the 9+1 schedule.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to do the 9 conference games plus 1 non-conference.
Yeah, because they got South Florida scheduled on the 5th.
Yeah, so that's not going to happen. So they're backing out of that. And then they tried to, from what I was reading on Twitter, is they're going to try to play UTEP, I think, on the 19th. I don't know if that's to give more time. So I think what they're trying to do is just kind of gear for a decent conference schedule.
Wait a minute, Todd. I just noticed one little glaring thing in y'all's scheduling. So y'all, the UT Longhorns want to start on the 19th to give it more time. And in doing so, they'll miss out on South Florida on September the 5th. And this little bitty nondescript school called LSU on September the 12th. Yeah, bro. I hear you. COVID, man. Y'all, we gotta get ready. We gotta prepare for COVID. We can't play our first 2 games. We just gotta play that 19th when we take on UTEP.
Well, the LSU game, it got canceled from what the SEC did prior.
Oh, Todd.
Yep.
Let me help you out, Todd. Today is Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday. The next day is Saturday. What's the day after that, Todd?
Sunday.
You too close to Sunday to be lying like a rug, Todd. You know y'all was scared of that game, man.
Well, no, I can't remember. It was either last week or the week before. The SEC either got rid of all the non-conference games. I can't remember, but the LSU game was already in jeopardy due to the SEC doing what they did. And I could be wrong. I think the SEC wiped out all the non-conference. I may be wrong. But the SEC, I knew about a week ago, the LSU game was not going to happen because every conference is doing the non-conference a little different, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to gear to the conference, but I've been hearing there's some conferences that are trying to play all 12 games, you know?
Yeah, what's interesting is the AAC, which is where U of H plays. They're doing a 8-conference game schedule, but they're allowing teams to play up to 12 games. So if they want to work in 4 non-conference scheduled games, they can do that, which I think is ridiculous. I mean, if you want to play your conference schedule, great. If you want to add a couple of, this game and that game to make it a round 10, great. But when you leave it to, again, I'm not dogging all athletic directors. I love the one up at Vanderbilt. I'm not dogging them, but I'm just saying, man, you just like you're leaving it up to chance by even trying to play, you're leaving it up to a whole lot of stuff when you leave it up to the athletic directors and the head coaches to figure it out.
Yeah. And I wish that in the fall they would, since they missed spring practice, maybe just try to do like a fall type spring practice. Do that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe just try to do something like that instead of trying to do the games and all that, which the situation is so fluid. It doesn't even make sense how you're going to do it. Just try to maybe replace your spring practice and just say, hey, in the fall, we're going to do what we would have done for spring practice. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah. I think that those are some great ideas. I just wish we had people that thought and maybe they've thought about them, Todd, and just decided not to do them. I don't want to paint all of college sports as if they're the evil empire.
Mm-hmm.
But man, it just seems like there's some logical stuff that they could do before we get to the point of no return that's going to look like you at least tried to have every player's well-being in mind, especially when you've got coaches in multiple conferences that have come out. Oh, it's all about the money. Oh, we got to get the economy going back there in Oklahoma, and we got to get the economy going back there in Tuscaloosa. And oh, we got to get the economy going over here in Clemson. Come on, man.
Yeah, it's it doesn't make sense. I don't see it. When you go back to what Penn State is doing, like I said, financially, I don't know how you could carry out the game because there's still a cost to playing the game.
Yeah.
Even if you have no fans, there's still a cost to that.
Sure.
Of just equipment, just everything you got to do to have the game. And then But there's a lot of schools out there, if they get to the point where they're like, we can't have fans, it's just not safe, they're financially just going to shut it down. They're just like, man, we can do that. Got to have some revenue coming in to be able to even play a game with no fans. Because you still have to have coaches, trainers, equipment, all that stuff that you would, do for a season.
Yeah. But let me throw this out, because you got all the fans out there that get mad when the players want their money, and they get mad when they won't agree to putting money in escrow, and they won't agree to pay cuts like that. Why can't the coaches and assistant coaches in college take pay cuts, especially if they're at a state-run university? Why are they owed all $5 million of their dollars when the entire state is living off of bailouts from the government and gifts from benevolent givers?
That's a good question. I remember when I can't remember the UConn basketball coach's name.
Calhoun,
right?
Yep.
And when he was there, he was like the highest paid dude in the whole state.
In the whole state.
I mean, he made more than everybody.
Right.
So, but when I look at the numbers, like even if Tom Herman and let's just say Shaka Smart, right? They said, hey, look, this year we're going to forfeit our salary. Just an attempt to try to make it work, right? If you look at a Penn State, what they're claiming they would lose $100 million in revenue, right?
Right.
Even as the football coach, Franklin, which I think makes $5 million a year, that doesn't even put a dent in it. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's, the schools are saying, hey, if a coach did that, hey, I appreciate the gesture, but man, that's not even going to put a dent in this $100 million. That's what I was saying. That's why the school is saying we'd rather not play, because it's going to cost us more money to play than to not.
I got to give love to Deshaun Watson and a couple of other players for the Houston Texans. They have partnered with Texas Southern University, and they're going to, attend the games. They're going to mentor the kids, but they're also going to do what they can to make sure that the university has what it needs to remain open and effective. So, you got to get some creative ways, man. If you can't get it from one stream of income, you got to get it from another. What do all the good entrepreneur and millionaire life coaches tell you? 7 streams of income. 7 streams of income. So again, I got a lot of love for Deshaun and them for doing that for TSU.
Let me ask you a quick question. I know you got a guest at 1. How are the HBCU schools handling this? I haven't heard a lot on that. Is TSU still planning to play, or
no? No, the SWAC and the MEAC have both pushed their sports back until January.
Okay.
And then they've got a limited conference schedule that they'll play, provided they can play safely in January.
So with those schools, they're planning to try to play football in January?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, okay. And then you've got some that have canceled it altogether, like Morehouse and a couple of others.
Wow. Okay. Man, that's okay. That's interesting. I was curious since you brought that up of kind of what the plan was. Man, interesting times. Man, I'm anxious to see how it plans out. But like I was saying earlier, the high schools in this area, they go in full force of practicing in the morning and going to try to make a go of it. So I'm curious to see how that happens.
If I'm the UIL, I say there's no championships this year, because it is definitely an unfair advantage for some schools over others. So just vacate all championships this year, and if they want to play, let them play. But as far as state organized and recognized championships, there shouldn't be one this year.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good point. Like you said, if they want to schedule games and just have a regular season, if you will, and then, I guess have just your conference champion or whatever.
Yep, that's it. That's all you got.
That's all you got. Then after that, just shut it down with no playoffs. I could see something potentially like that happen, but I just don't. A couple of principals I know in my area, they've said if someone gets it on the team, they have to quarantine the whole team for 2-3 weeks.
Yep.
I don't know how you can stop and start like that with the football.
Todd, be safe out there, man. Tell Amber and the kids we say hello.
Okay. Thanks, AJ.
All right, y'all. Good conversation with Todd Malcolm, longtime lunch breaker, very knowledgeable, very big fan and alum of UT. But the big announcement, Penn State not going to have any fans in the stands for their upcoming season. Penn State not going to have any fans in the stands for their upcoming season. All right, Spurs fell to Denver 132-126, second loss in a row. Second time they've given up 132 and lost. Rudy Gay led the way with 24 off the bench, but it wasn't enough. They'll try to bounce back when they play Utah tomorrow at noon Central. Rockets play the Lakers tonight at 8 o'clock. You can watch it live on TNT. The Mavericks will play the Clippers also on TNT. That tips off at 5:30 Central. Astros blew a 4-0 lead by giving up 9 runs in the bottom of the fourth inning. They ended up going on to lose 14-7 to Arizona. Astros hit 4 home runs in that game, but the pitching staff, the bullpen, was atrocious. Game 3 in that series will be tonight just after 6 o'clock. The Rangers came up short, losing 6-4 to Oakland. Again, the bullpen gave up runs late in the game. Those two teams will get at it again just in a little bit, 2:40 Central. And then again, the NFL players have right up until 3 o'clock Central to officially opt out of the 2020 season due to COVID-19. But there are some additional ways that they can opt out once the season either gets started or after today's deadline. So there you go. All right, got a special guest coming up in just a bit, and it is our Throwback Thursday. Big shout out to John Foster and Aki Davis. Missed them as we normally do the sports fellas on today, but got to give some shout out to my guys. All right. All right. We'll be right back with more right after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all new 92.3 FM.
Off of TV and the other airways. It's not Irish, you're so
1140 KYOK, Conroe, Houston. The legend continues.
The views and opinions expressed on all radio shows broadcast on KYOK are entirely those of the host, guests, and callers who are entirely responsible for all show content and do not in any way reflect the opinions of KYOK Radio, its sponsors, staff, or management.
Walk out on that field today. Ask yourself this question.
What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Game time! What time is it? Let's go! We ready! We ready! We ready! We ready! I'm going to the house! I'm going to the house!
When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. This is what it feels like. Football is getting hit. That's it.
It's gonna be football now. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's hunt now. Let's hunt now. Let's go. Let's hunt. We ready? I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house.
We're talking about the Jets like we're talking about the Saints. You know, all this holler we the Miami Heat of football. Yeah. The bottom line is you got to buckle up the chin straps. It's embarrassing. Yeah. Don't you disrespect the game like that. There's too much crying from him. He's a man. They can be a hit just like us. He's a man. You ought to make the big money. He's a man. Don't cry when you step on the field, man. That's who I did. When I step on the field, I send one message. This is what it feels like. Oh, my bad. Your bad don't work in my world.
What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Game time. What time is it? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We ready? I'm going to the house. I'm going to the house. It's a wrap. Game over.
All right, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. Got to send some love out to Bishop Becca tuning in. Also, John Lindeman from my hometown, Cincinnati. Ruby Branch, what's going on, sis? And CJ is loving that intro with Ray Lewis. And I got a lot of folks yapping. A lot of folks yapping on my text messages. So, hey, listen, that's fine. If you want to text me, 832-403-5005. 832-403-5005. Here's what it boils down to. If you're not afraid, great, don't be. There are people that are not afraid. They're just cautious, and they use common sense. For some people, it's all or nothing. Oh, you're afraid. No, it's not afraid. It's just cautious, common sense. It's no big deal. It doesn't have to be fear like just because you say it's fear doesn't mean it is. So, bruh, sister, whoever you are, run on down there. Run on down there. They're going to have about 25,000 folks at the UT games. Go and get your ticket. Get in there. There are other, I think the Texans are trying to have 25% capacity. Get your ticket and get in there. It's okay. Stop calling people afraid because you think you're a, whatever. Yap, 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 yap. You're a man or a woman. You can get it just like the rest. So I'm a little harsher. If you run down there and get it, you ought to wave away any medical assistance available. That should be reserved for the people that erred on the side of caution. I know that sounds wrong. I know that sounds whatever, but it'll be a good deterrent for all of this vibrato, this right here. Again, to me, it ain't the deep state. It's not, QAnon. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's not any of that. But, some of y'all, that's it. That's how y'all get down. So that's it. Penn State linebacker Micah Parsons has opted out of the 2020 season due to COVID-19. I think he's announced for the NFL draft. And that was the other part of it. There are some players in college that you already know you're going to be a top draft pick whenever football comes back safely. What do? Do you put it on the line for college, for a scholarship, for the school? Because those are all the ones that get paid first. The coach, the boosters, the alumni, the media types like myself, so we can have something to talk about? Or do you truly do what's best for you and your family? Sit it out, stay safe, work out, and get ready for your NFL career. Telling you now, if one of mine was in that situation, we love Penn State, we love Ohio State, we love LSU. They have been very, very good to us. But we have decided we are going to sit this one out. And we're going to go ahead and do what's best for our family. So, that's what we would do. That's exactly what we would do. So anyway, lot of decisions being made. A lot of decisions being made. All right, got our special guest going to be joining us any minute now, and we'll get an update on what's happening in the Houston. The National Association of Black Journalists Conference. We'll get an update from that, and we'll get an update on what's going on in the world of sports over there on the East Coast. Find out why are all the New England Patriots opted out? What's going on over there? That's what I want to know. And why are the Boston Celtics still mediocre? That's what I want to know. I got questions. Anybody got answers? Let me see if I can't get some quick updates. Okay, hang on. I think I see him. Oh, and he did the hiding of the face on me. Ah, man, I tell you, these award-winning cats, man. Look, we don't have him. We got a picture, ladies and gentlemen. Without further ado, we got Michael Lyle Jr. joining us here on the lunch break. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. How's it going, AJ? Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you as well. We can't see you today. You still dressed in jammies?
Yeah, that's why I threw a little something at you. I threw that NABJ photo on there so you can get a little idea what's been going on with me the last couple of days.
I got
kind
you,
of
man.
like spiced up a little bit.
Well, man, listen, all joking aside, we're glad to have you. We've got an award-winning broadcast journalist joining us here on the lunch break. Michael, tell everybody about you, who you are, where you're from, and what you've done today.
Well, I've been working here in Connecticut for the last 6 years, and I'm pretty much a radio guy. I do a lot of radio work here in New England, and I'm also a mentor for the NABJ. That's why I posted that pic just now, so you get an idea what I'm doing over the last few days. And that's one of them. It's just that I'm a mentor, and 16 years strong in this business, brother. 16 years. 16 years strong.
Yeah, that's
solid,
Mike. That's solid. Hey, tell us about the NABJ. A lot of folks are not familiar with it. Tell us about it and how you got involved in it.
Well, I've been a member of NABJ for 16 years. I started in 2003, was my first year in the organization. And these last 4 years, I've just been a member of what they have called the student projects. So I do a lot of mentoring of the young professionals that want to be journalists, and that's what we're doing this year. We were supposed to be in DC this year, but unfortunately, COVID has really messed up a lot of plans. So this year, we're doing what's called a virtual convention. So everybody's like me, working from their pajamas at home, and we're still making the convention work, even though we're not in person, but we're still utilizing all this technology to talk to these youngsters and these young professionals that want to be journalists. So we're making do what we do under the circumstances, and it's been great so far. I mean, this has been a unique experience. I'm sure a lot of people were concerned at the outset how this was going to go, but so far, it's so good.
Yeah, I got to tell you, I was very impressed. I checked out the session this morning with presidential candidate Joe Biden, and there was some other things going on this morning. What are some of the things that are discussed and talked about during the NABJ?
A lot of the things they talk about is looking for jobs. I mean, unfortunately, our industry's been taking a huge hit right now because of the pandemic. So a lot of these young professionals are coming to us and they're looking for work. Or some of us who have been veterans in this field for many years are losing their jobs. So we're all working to try and find a common ground as to what we can do to help them with these resources. And also to talk to these companies about the issue of diversity. I'm sure you've heard that a lot lately. We're trying to really get people to understand that it's important that you have newsrooms that have people like you and me representing the company, especially those that are diverse and know their stuff and know what they're doing and have a knowledge of the work at hand. That's the other thing we're trying to convey to these companies. Start putting more of us in these newsrooms so that you can, so that it reflects what you're trying to convey in terms of we're trying to be more diverse in our coverage of news and the topics and stories that matter to us. There's a lot of things we're discussing this week alone. In the last several months, we've seen what's happening with the racial injustice issues after George Floyd's passing. We've had to see companies come out of the woodwork trying to understand why we're upset and why you're seeing all these marches and protests and whatnot. There's a lot of discussion around all of that this week. And the other side of it too is we're trying to get people back to work if we can, or make the connections so that they can hire these kids coming out of college that are able to work and have the ability to get right into the game. And especially now, why waste any time when you know they're ready and hungry and aggressive, get them out there and get going.
Yeah, absolutely. We got Michael Lyle Jr., award-winning broadcast journalist from the New England area, joining us here on the lunch break, kind of giving us a little bit of background of the NABJ, National Association of Black Journalists. That convention is going on virtually right now as we speak. And Mike, you bring up some very good points because, I know that there was a big deal about coverage over in that New England area. There was one media company that literally took the black journalists off of the major stories because they felt like, I guess, they were biased to the stories. And I saw that the NABJ put out some very terse statements about how that was being handled.
Yeah, and I just think that, again, why we're having this convention this week is we're addressing those topics, because if you have newsrooms, AJ, that don't have folks like you and I representing those newsrooms and have a knowledge of these stories that they report on, but we know firsthand what the experience is like, How is that going to look if they can get somebody else that doesn't look like us to cover those stories if they don't have the knowledge of that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We know it. We lived it. We experienced it. So our attitude is, we're out here. Professionals like you and I and several others that know this stuff and are ready to cover these stories are out there. So it's your job, the companies, to seek us out, bring us into your corporation, into your organization. Let's talk about it, and let's get out there and just put these stories out there. Because the other problem is, a lot of it is, I think, is that there's a lot of ignorance, is that people don't really understand unless you have folks that can understand and adapt to those stories, that have the ability to tell them. Gets people thinking a little more. And I just see that being an issue now, because you have folks that are covering stories about racial injustice. Well, I hate to say it, but unless you've actually experienced it like we have, then it's tough to tell that story from that angle and then from that perspective. But you and I can talk about that, and we may not be, I wouldn't say we're going to sugarcoat it or we're going to be like lukewarm about our response, but we're going to tell it like it's supposed to be told, because that's the reality of it. We're not going to sit out here and perpetrate a fraud and say that, well, it's not that bad. Well, it is bad, because look what's going on right now. And we have to be really heavy-handed with this stuff. You can't be, you can't throw a curve and expect somebody to just be soft about it. You have to just, really throw those fastballs out there and get people thinking that this is the stuff that needs to be told, and get people to think about why we're having these issues and why you're seeing this stuff like Black Lives Matter. Why are you seeing this portrayed on television right now? Because this is the issues that have been affecting us for years. And finally, we're getting the dialogue going. Will it lead to a resolution? Who knows? But at least we have a conversation going, and I think that's where it starts.
We got Michael Lyle Jr. He's an award-winning broadcast journalist joining us here on the lunch break. And I'm glad to have you, man, because let me tell you, I got convicted myself. I was a guy, grew up in the Midwest, and family from Louisiana, but I spent most of my time up in the Midwest. And I spent most of my life trying to blend in, not make any waves, get along, go along, that kind of thing. But enough just got to be enough, with Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor and all of those things that went on and on and on. And now I'm trying to speak up.
And we're still talking about Breonna Taylor to this very moment. We're still talking about that.
Yeah, and I love what you're doing on Instagram too, by the way. You literally every day says it is day number, da-da-da-da-da, and they still have not arrested the murderers of Breonna.
No, they haven't. We're still talking about Breonna Taylor as we speak right now, AJ. That is why we're using our platforms to get this word out, because what is it going to take before people start paying attention to these issues? How long are we going to have to continue to post these messages about Breonna Taylor and George? When do we stop? When do we get to a common ground where we have to get people to say, okay, we hear you. Now let's get into the dialogue. Let's start looking into the issue. Well, it took long enough to get to this point. The thing is, now that we got in there, what do we do about it? Do we address it, or do we sweep it under the rug like it never happened? Because that's my only fear about this. People are going to discuss this stuff now, but then I hate for it to just disappear off the face of the planet for several months, and then we never have this discussion again. Then, God forbid, something else happens. And then here we are once again from square one, same discussions, same topics. We don't want to continue to go back and forth here. We need to go forward and stay going forward.
Yeah. That's the key right there, and that's why I say, man, I'm bringing it all up. I posted yesterday after Congressman Ted Cruz made some comments about Oprah Winfrey's session about race, and made the statement that at the end of the day, white people still have their whiteness to fall back on, and he called it BS. And I said, I'm tired of seeing powerful white men disrespect black women. I mean, it's just, when you see the press conferences at the White House, when you see someone like an Oprah Winfrey who has earned respect, get talked about like that. If you don't want to have the discussion, it doesn't give you the right to disrespect them.
No, it doesn't. And that's what's that's just a snapshot of what's going on with this country right now that has gotten everything so divided. We are so divided like no tomorrow. And the fact that we're having this rhetoric with Ted Cruz, it just shows that we have a lot of work to do right now, man. It's just bad. The worst case is that we're doing all this in the middle of a pandemic. People are dying every day from COVID-19, and yet here we are. We're taking shots at each other across the aisle, and it's not making anything better. It's making it worse.
Right.
So until we can, again, like I said, we can find this common ground where we can try. I can't say we can be in harmony with each other, but at least we can have enough sense to say we could do better than this, and let's try and work out something to where Okay, maybe we won't agree with it all the way, but at least we can have some type of norm. We can have common sense about it, which I hate to say common sense is not common these days. But if we can at least have a meeting of the minds about this stuff, maybe we can move forward and try and bring about some sort of change, if it even gets to that point. But I don't know.
Yeah. Again, you bring up good points. The other one for us down here in Houston, we're the fourth largest city in the country, give or take. And we've got very little diversity, man, on our airwaves, very little diversity in our newsrooms. And all of the major sports are covered by networks that have very few of us. Well, guess what? Those sports are being played by the majority of folks that look like us. And we're literally fighting that battle, man. We're literally fighting that battle.
Doesn't help that a lot of companies are laying off people right now as we speak. I'm not sure if you saw, but NBC has laid off a bunch of people this week. And a lot of those were black reporters that are members of the NEBJ, mind you. So, again, we're in the middle of a perfect storm, if you will. We have this convention, and now we have an aftermath of companies cutting back and chomping at the bit here because of the pandemic. And you just mentioned something about diversity in the Houston market. Well, I'm here in Hartford, Connecticut. And I didn't get a chance to mention exactly what I do. I work for 2 radio stations. I work for WTIC Radio here in Hartford, which is like the 50,000-watt news radio station of Connecticut. I'm the only black news anchor on the airways, I think, in Connecticut. And I also work for another station in Springfield, Massachusetts at Public Radio, where I'm doing news anchor. So I look at the diversity in radio alone for black folks. And unless I'm mistaken, I could be wrong about this, but I don't think I am, because I've been working in this market for 16 years, especially in radio. And I don't think there's any other person that looks like me that does news radio anchoring. Not disc jockeying, not music, not emceeing. I'm talking about what I do as a living. News radio anchoring. I think I am the only one in this state of Connecticut that does that. Probably in Springfield, Massachusetts as well. So trust me, that's why what I do for a living, brother, I take it very seriously, because I know that there's some out there that want to be in this business that may have an interest in radio. So I feel like it's there are folks like you and I that can do this work. And if that's what you want to do, we're here to help you get there.
Yeah. Michael Lyle Jr., I mean, pioneer, look, groundbreaker, trailblazer, and multi.
I wouldn't say all that. I'm just saying that you got to hold the fort down, because that's just the way it is.
Mike,
you got to hold it down.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, bro. We got to call it like it is, because trust me, if it wasn't you, it might have been somebody, but somebody might have said, I don't want to be the only one. I don't want to go through what I got to go through. And you're one of the brothers who not only did it, but you're also reaching back and grabbing others to bring them forward as well. And man, I'm telling you, there ain't a lot of people that's going to take their hat off to you. Let me do it, bro. Let me do it.
Brother, that's the way my book is, the way it's supposed to be. We're supposed to be helping each other out. I know that's far-fetched these days, but let me tell you something. I don't know what people are being told these days. I don't know what they're being told by their professors in college or whatever the case may be. But I just know this. Doing unto others is what I was always taught, because I would think that if something were to happen to you right now, or me, I would hope that somebody would be willing to pick you up and say, I got you. What do you need? I'm here to help out. What can we do to get you back on track? Don't just leave you to be to the wolves and then you just got to just figure it out on your own. It's a cruel world out here, man. So I would not want anybody to dog you out, or me, if we were to go through a situation right now. I would hope that people would be willing to say, okay, we got you. We got this. We'll take care of it. Just tell us what you need. And I mean, I can't change the world, and I can't help everybody in one fell swoop, brother, but I could be a good source of support and whatever it is at this point. And if that's enough to get them back on track, then I think I've done my job.
Michael Lyle Jr. joining us here on the lunch break. Michael, do me a favor, stand right there, man. Got to take a quick break, and then we'll come back with more. I got a couple more questions for you right here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. It's our Throwback Thursday.
Your expensive cable bill forever, or get new satellite internet where cable can't go. Well, now you can have affordable satellite internet service for a few dollars a day. All you need is a mini satellite installed, and you can have unlimited internet connections wirelessly in your home or office. And no cable boxes means unlimited connections and no clutter. You can surf the internet or stream any of your favorite television services with no cable. And the best part is, satellite internet service costs only a few dollars a day for your entire home. Yes, fast internet to surf or stream television for a few bucks a day. Call now for free details and learn how to drop your expensive cable bill.
800-712-8044. 800-712-8044. 800-712-8044. That's 800-712-8044.
Having trouble getting focused? Getting your to-do list done?
Seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you.
KYOK 1140 and 92.3.
It's inspiring. It's empowering.
It's life-changing.
It's called to inspire with best-selling author and motivational speaker, Dr. Sylvia Cole. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock here on the legendary KYOK, 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOK.org.
Hey, what's up? This is your boy James Fortune, and you are listening to The Lunch Break. Keep it locked.
All right, y'all, we're back here on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. It is our Throwback Thursday, and I've got a very special guest. So glad to have him. His name is Michael Lyle Jr. He is an award-winning broadcast journalist, good brother, been doing this for a while, one of the only brothers doing it in his area over in the New England area. And, man, I'm just seriously glad to have you. Thank you for making time during this pandemic and during the National Association of Black Journalism Convention. Appreciate you. How are you doing weather-wise out there? I know the storm blew through there. You got safe? You doing all right?
Yeah, man. Half of Connecticut right now is in pitch darkness. Tropical storm ECA has made a landfall here on a couple days ago, man. She did a number on us. I mean, there's a lot of power outages across the state. Mine as well. I've been affected by this. So right now, I'm kind of like flying in the blinds, if you will. There's no word when we're going to service back. I've been following the story about this. The utility companies here in a little bit of a heat wave from people like me because we've been wondering their response to this thing was not all adequate. So
yeah.
Right now, we're all dealing with the aftermath of this thing. And like I said, half of the state's in the dark. The last I checked, there was reports we could be out for a couple more days, maybe into next week. We don't know yet. But let's just say that we were down this road once in 2011. We had a snowstorm in October, which knocked off power to thousands of residents in the state, and they left us in the dark and in the cold for a week. So the thing is, we have not learned from that experience, obviously, because here we are again in 2020, and this thing came through, and she must have picked up some serious power when she came inland. It wasn't expected to be this heavy of damage-wise, but I did a little bit of a survey coming to work today, and I see a lot of trees and a lot of branches still down. A lot of big trees have been uprooted, so there's a lot of cleanup going on as well. And as far as the power is concerned, that is now on the minds of many of us as to when. And let me tell you, it's hot. It's like the 90s right now. We're not talking about 70-degree weather. It gets hot up here in New England. I know it gets hot down there in the south, but we're in the 90-degree temperatures right now, my friend. It's not like we're in the 70s or 80s. In fact, we're in the middle of a heat wave now. And I think last I checked, it might get up to 90 this weekend. So you figure that we're in the dark with no power and no electricity, no AC. That's going to make for some very uncomfortable nights around here for many of us unless we get power back soon.
Absolutely. And again, our thoughts and prayers are with you. We had Kelsey Nicole Nelson on yesterday, and she was going through the same thing right there in the DMV. So, man, again, I appreciate you making the time to even do this, Michael.
Yeah, brother, I meant, it was commitment, and I threw you off with the picture just now. I just want to I was just doing that to show you that, I'm probably in my pajamas, but that picture was to show you that I'm doing a lot of things. Like, I got so many things I'm going through right now, doing the convention, going through my power at my house, and then I'm working around the clock doing my jobs and everything. So I'm doing a lot of things in one fell swoop, but this was something that I said that we were going to do, so that's why I'm here, and anything for you, brother. So you guys, no, nothing to worry about.
Well, let me ask you one more thing, Michael, and I know you got stuff to do. We see a couple of big names on major networks, especially the sports world, that, when the layoffs come from the ESPNs and the Fox Sports and what have you, instead of them going to another major network, you see them literally launching their own platform. Roland Martin did it, obviously, with what happened with him. And, again, the big names, their name alone is going to draw people to follow them. What would you recommend to someone who might be trying to get into this business and they cannot break in with a big network? Do you think that that's a viable way for them to try and start their own platform?
You had Kelsey on the other day, and you see what she's doing right now. She's got her own show, which I've helped out with, man, by the way. So she's using her platform to get a lot of stuff going, and as well as you do. Now, if I were to speak to somebody that has those same aspirations, I would say do whatever you have to do to get in the business and to market yourself, and do it with the resources that you can get, and do it with the right team around you, because there's nothing worse than having to put something together and you don't have like-minded folks around you.
Right.
You want to start a brand, that's great. You need a nice team around you to build up that brand. And today, you got to be mindful of that, because everybody wants to be the top dog in this business. You and I both know this is all about competition. Everybody's trying to be number one. If they have aspirations to do that, I would never tell them don't do it. I would say just do it, and just do it to the best of your ability. Realize there's going to be challenges. Realize you're going to have to face adversity, because that's just the way it is. But if you persevere and you stick with this long enough, why not? Why not you?
Yeah.
And what's holding you back? You got all this technology out there to build on it.
Yeah. What you helped build with Kelsey is phenomenal. Her stuff is as solid as any major network. And oh yeah, by the way, she's extremely talented, and the guests that she brings on are guests that you would see on major networks. So phenomenal job there, Michael. Phenomenal job.
Oh, absolutely. She's done she's amazing. It's been great what she's done with her show. I love that it's taken off, and she's been putting out some great content. And again, this is what it's all about, AJ. It's about helping us all win together. It's not about one person I want us all to win. We all want to have a seat at the table, as we say in the community. We all want to be at the cookout. We all want to have a seat at that table, because we all work hard enough to get there. We should all want to celebrate each other. So that's why I say do it, and be mindful of who you put around you to help do that, because unfortunately, not everybody thinks the way you and I and Kelsey think, if you get my drift.
Yeah, I do. Well, so we got another person listening, Willie Gibson, who is a phenomenal young man. He's been working in the industry for a while, also looking to kind of get a break. What about the other side? What if folks are determined to get on a network somewhere, whether it be in a radio station or a television station, in a small market, a medium market, or if they want to try and fight their way into a big market? What would you recommend to somebody trying to do that?
I recommend get as much experience as you can, no matter where you start, because everybody has a different approach and a different path in this business, AJ. I was fortunate enough to be in this market of Connecticut and New England for 16 years. My first job was at ESPN, which is based here in Connecticut. I worked there behind the scenes for 6 years. That's how I got my start in radio, actually. And ever since, I've worked in this market, covering local stories and covering a whole bunch of other things. What I would also say to folks is this, AJ, and I won't be long with this. Nothing wrong with having aspirations to be a sports reporter or whatever you desire to be. But what I say to you is that with the way this industry is changing, it's always good to diversify your background. For example, we had sports, but then they were postponed and they were called off because of the pandemic. Now we have sports back, but they're not back 100%. And the media can't always have access to these events now because of the fact that we're in the pandemic. We're still in quarantine mode, so there's only so much we could do. I say that because too many of us have one goal in mind, but it's good to have another background if you want to do more than just one thing. You know what I mean? Because if you want to be in the business, you can always cover other things that will work you towards whatever it is that you want to do. So don't just settle on saying, I want to be a sports journalist, or I want to be a news reporter. Learn everything so that when it comes time to it, you can do everything, whatever the people that you work for ask you. Because I've read stories where sports reporters have had now to reevaluate what they do for a living because there was no sports. So you got to cover something other than sports now. You got to cover politics, you got to cover health, whatever. So I just think the more you have in your tank in terms of knowledge, the better off you're going to be, and the more marketable you become to all these program directors and news directors that are looking for you to work for them. It always helps.
Yeah, I think that's great advice. There's a young lady that is a mentor, mentee of yours, and I know she goes out and she actually shoots her own stories. So she'll set the camera up, she'll get in front of the camera, she'll hit her button, and she's her own camera person. She's her own talent. She'll go in and edit it, and then she'll shoot it up to the newsroom for them to run it. And back in my day, that ain't how that worked. You had a cameraman. You had your microphone. They took care of all of that for you, and that's how your story ran. But now you've got to know all sides of the production, right?
Right, and that's the thing. You got to be able to do the technical side of this business too. Absolutely. As I mentioned, I learned a lot about the behind-the-scenes work when I was at ESPN. That taught me to work with certain software, certain programs, which was good for me because it allowed me to use those skills to apply towards the jobs I do right now. Like, I'm usually a one-man band and doing radio work up here. Like, I write my own copy. I write my own newscasts. I write my own scripts. I download my own audio. I do my own production. I use all the software that I was taught to use to my advantage because this is how you earn your paycheck. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're not in a big city like in New York where they have people that actually help you with that stuff. In smaller markets, you got to learn to do it all, but that helps you in the long haul because say there's an instance where you're called to do something that you probably did not ever thought you would have to do, but yet you have knowledge of that particular task. That makes you look good because you can say, well, I can do that. I've done that. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
It's like that old NBC commercial. The more you know.
Exactly. Well, Michael, again, I appreciate you, man. I see how much folks like Jay Jackson, I see how much folks like Kelsey Nicole Nelson, how they just appreciate you and all the, that you have poured into them and done for them. We appreciate you giving us kind of the background on the NABJ. I'm a first-time member, and like I said, I'm tuning in to as much as I can before my show. I'm going to go and log into some stuff afterwards, and I hope everything will be cleared out so it'll be live here in Houston next year, and we can broadcast live from there, man. But again, I applaud you, Michael.
Absolutely. You need to be on the set for that one next summer in Houston. Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So, Michael, tell everybody where they can find you and follow you with all the great work that you do.
You can follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Lyle Multimedia, and you can also find me on Facebook at my full name, Michael Lyle Jr., and also on LinkedIn, same name, and probably the same picture too.
Michael, would you recommend people join the NABJ?
Absolutely, they should. I mean, this is a growing organization. We're getting stronger and stronger each year with our membership. I mean, even though we're not in person this year, for example, AJ, we're still setting records because people are actually coming onto this organization because it's a viable resource right now. And like I said earlier, people are trying to get back into work. We've seen cutbacks right now because of the pandemic. So this is a good time to join us and let us seasoned professionals help you, whatever it is that you need help with, so that you can get back in the workforce. It's only going to take, they say it takes a village to raise a child. Well, we have two organizations that we're working with this week alone that has going to help these young professionals get back in the mix or get into the mix. So we're here.
Yeah. There's membership levels of all kind. If you're a student, they've got something for you. If you're, a friend of media type folks, if you have a business that's kind of related to, there's something for you there. And I highly recommend it. And again, Michael, thank you, brother. Thank you for making time for us today.
No problem, AJ. Thank you so much for having me on. I look forward to talking to you again soon. Stay safe
all right,
down there.
Yeah, we'll do. You do the same, okay?
I will. Trust me, I'm fine. Yes, sir.
Okay. Y'all give it up, Michael Lyle Jr., man. Good brother. Good. And we want to keep them all in prayer over on the East Coast. Like he said, a lot of folks still without power, without, the things that they need, basic essentials that they need. And it's hot over there. Y'all know the deal. You know what happens when you get hot, how, you can't just turn the air on and what have you. And it's not like you can just go outside and open up the window. So, again, we're going to be thinking about and wishing the best for all of our friends and family on the East Coast. If there's some kind of way that we can help, I'll find out. We as lunch breakers, we'll pull our resources together and try and help some folks out over there. But, again, let me remind you that the Greater Greenspoint Census Car Parade is going to take place tomorrow from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Grand Marshal is none other than Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee. The co-Grand Marshals, Pastor E.A. Deckard and Bishop Shelton Beatty. They're going to drive by, honk, and wave to celebrate the Greenspoint community being counted in the 2020 census. If you have not yet registered with the 2020 census, please do so. Go to www.2020census.gov. That's 2020census.gov. And those are the numbers, 2020census.gov. You still got time to register for the census. So again, I want to appreciate Michael Lyle Jr. for joining us. Willie Gibson, that's a good contact, man, for you right there. Him, David Grubb, Kelsey, Nicole Nelson. Those are all great contacts. Valencia King, Shirley Walker King, all great contacts. And, nowadays with the technology, there is nothing stopping us from connecting anywhere with good people around the world. So, that's my passion, is to get good people connected with good people so we can all do what it is we want to do. All right, now I'm trying to get some quick sports updates. I know there's some games that are in progress as we speak. The Sacramento Kings are beating the New Orleans Pelicans 77-70 right now at halftime. Brandon Ingram, 12 points in the first half. Zion Williamson, 11 in the first half. Drew Holiday, 11 in the first half. JJ Redick, 8 off the bench. On the Sacramento side, Bojan Bogdanovic has gone off, 24 points in the first half alone. De'Aaron Fox has 16. Love him. He's from our area. Harrison Barnes has 13 as well. So again, Sacramento up 77-70. High-scoring game there. A little baseball to talk about. The Minnesota Twins are tied with Pittsburgh right now, 3-3, and that's at the end of the third inning. And, of course, there is some golf going on as we speak. The PGA Championship, Scotty Scheffler is tied with two others, including Zach Johnson, on top. Let me just get to the leaderboard, throw some names out at you. Jason Day is right behind the leaders at 4 under. You got a big group at 3 under, including Brad Koepka and Dustin Johnson. Let me see where, who I'm looking for. And I don't see him. Rory McIlroy is at 1 under. I'm still looking for him. Goodness. Oh, there he is. Tiger Woods is at even par through 12. So there you go. See if there's anybody else that nope, that's it. That's what I wanted to get. All right, that's my quick sports update. Let me take a break. We'll be back with more. We'll wrap it up right after this on the lunch break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. It is Throwback Thursday.
The next time you climb in the midnight hour,
it's inspiring. It's empowering.
It's life-changing.
It's called to inspire with best-selling author and motivational speaker, Dr. Sylvia Cole. Tune in every Tuesday morning at 11 o'clock here on the legendary KYOK, 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOK.org.
Has someone in your family lost a job recently, and now you can't afford your mortgage payment? Or do you have a rental property and your tenants aren't paying you? Quick Cash Offer can come to the rescue and pay you cash for your home immediately. Yes, sell your home and get cash all over the phone without dealing with real estate agents and risking your safety by showing your home to lukewarm buyers. You don't need to lose your home to foreclosure. If you have any equity in your home, we will buy it and give you cash within days, all in a simple over-the-phone and virtual process. Call Quick Cash Offer now before the economy gets worse. Sell a home you can't afford or just don't want to get the cash you need today.
800-780-1431. 800-780-1431. 800-780-1431. That's 800-780-1431.
This is a potter's field. When people can't pay for their funerals, they are buried here. It is a lonely, desolate place, littered with unmarked headstones. No one visits. No one leaves flowers. But it doesn't have to be that way. For as low as $1 a day, you can ensure your family will have the money to pay your funeral expenses. We offer burial insurance plans that pay up to $30,000. Considering the average funeral costs more than $10,000, that's peace of mind for your family. There are no medical exams, your rates won't increase, and your policy cannot be canceled as long as you make your premium payments. Call now to get approved in minutes and ensure your final resting place is more than just a pauper's grave in a potter's field.
800-308-6729. 800-308-6729. 800-308-6729. That's 800-308-6729. Paid for by Final Expense Direct.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or injured at work, you have rights, and you may be entitled to money for your suffering. Don't accept an offer you get from an insurance company until you talk to a lawyer. And we represent some of the best personal injury lawyers you can find. Tough lawyers that will fight to win your case. And they're so good they stake their reputation on it by only getting paid if you win. So if you've been in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or hurt on the job, find out today for free what kind of compensation you may be entitled to. Call the legal helpline right now.
800-547-4170. 800-547-4170. 800-547-4170. That's 800-547-4170.
Again I say unto you, if two of you shall agree on earth as touching anything, it shall be done for them by my Father who is in heaven. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. Matthew 18:19 and 20.
That's the gospel.
And we're KYOK 1140 AM and 92.3 FM.
I'm Linda J. Another election day is just around the corner. We all want change. We all need change. We all can be the change. If you're not registered to vote, please register today. Don't talk about it. Let's be about it. Register to vote today.
This message is approved by KYOK 1140 AM, 92.3 FM, and KYOKradio.org.
Hey, what's going on? This is Lecrae, and right now you're listening to The Lunch Break.
All right, y'all, we're back here on The Lunch Break on the legendary KYOK and the all-new 92.3 FM. I'm AJ Jones. What a great Throwback Thursday. Want to appreciate Todd for jumping on. Definitely want to appreciate Michael Lyle Jr. for jumping on as well. Great brother. And doing all that in the midst of everything that he's got personally going on. Those are the kind of people you want to have on your team. Those are the kind of people that you want to have on your team. And the fact that they are trying to make sure that that newsrooms and radio stations and newspaper organizations and magazines are diverse. You cannot just have one group telling everybody else's story. And you know, I don't hate it. Let me choose my words carefully. I know there are a lot of people that are tired of me talking about race, racism, social, economic injustices against black people, and of course, police brutality. And I'm not even dealing with the folks that want to go, oh, fix Chicago first, and oh, fix your communities first. Listen, Chicago is as much your problem as it is anybody's problem. And the fact that you've done nothing to fix it, don't make it look like we have done nothing to fix it. Sit with that before you tell somebody else what to do. Where I was going with that is this. If this is ever going to be the great nation that we know it can be, we know it has been, and we know that parts of it are right now, everyone has to be included and have a fair chance to be so. Everyone. And that's professionally, economically, residentially, as far as medical care goes, as far as a wage and a living goes, everybody. And again, I know folks, they don't like it when I talk about sports. Just look at the ownership across all major sports. Look at the leadership across all major sports. There are certain glass ceilings that still have not been broken, and this is 2020. Oh, yeah, but AJ, folks, you know, what do you want us to give you something or you want to earn it? Well, guess what? I want to earn it, but I want a fair chance to earn it. And there are things that happen behind the scenes that you may not be aware of. I mean, let me, I just got to get this out and I'm going to go because I got other stuff to do. Just because you have never been discriminated against because of your color, your race, those things, doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Just because you've never experienced systematic racism does not mean it does not exist. I'm glad you've never experienced it. I don't want anybody else to experience it. I wouldn't wish it on an enemy. So I'm glad you don't experience it. But just because you've never experienced it, stop trying to shut people down who are talking about it, who have. I don't like the way Ted Cruz spoke to Oprah Winfrey. I don't like it. When Oprah Winfrey hadn't earned the right to have an opinion, I mean, think about that. He got angry because she had an opinion different than his. I don't like seeing the president get mad at the black journalists in the press conferences. I don't like that. There ought to be a measure of respect. Well, AJ, they're asking him, gotcha me. They are black women. If a question makes you that mad that you've got to be disrespectful, the problem is not with them or the question. The problem is with your response and your behavior. Just because somebody asks me a question that I don't like doesn't give me the right to be disrespectful. Stop disrespecting black women. Please. I'm not fighting you. I'm asking you. And if you can't do that, then you got the problem. It's time out for that. And like I said at the beginning of the show, and I'm going to say this and I'm going to go. If you call yourself a Christian, if you call yourself a believer in Christ and that's your behavior, quit the group. Be Jermaine Jackson, go start your own team because that is not who we are. And I would fight the same fight if it was somebody disrespecting your culture's women. I'd fight the same fight. I don't want white women disrespected. I don't want Asian women disrespected. I don't want Hispanic women disrespected. At some point, we got to get out of these doggone political parties and get to what's right. Stop disrespecting the women, especially the black ones. All right? All right. I got to get out of here. I got to go. I got a session with the National Association of Black Journalists coming up, and I want to be a part of it. So I'm sorry I couldn't bring you the live broadcast. I misunderstood what I was allowed to do by me signing up. Like they said, if I broadcast live, what was the point in people signing up? So I get it. I'm just not in a position to pay what they wanted me to pay. So Donnie McClurkin's up next with the Donnie McClurkin Show. He'll give you the best in gospel music, the latest in the gospel music industry. Donnie does his thing every Monday through Friday from 2 to 3. In the morning, you got Erica Campbell and Griff Get Up Mornings, 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Griff is up for a big award as a co-host on that show. And, of course, Erica Campbell and Griff are up for major awards because of the show. So we got that right here on the legendary KYOK. Then your boy will be back with Freestyle Friday. Got special guests lined up for tomorrow. So tune in, man. You're going to be surprised by some of the special guests that I've got lined up for tomorrow. Sybil Wilkes is going to give us a COVID-19 update in just a couple of minutes. All that right here on the lunch break. As always, let's not be divided. Let's be united. I love you. There's nothing you can do about it except wash your hands for 30 seconds or more. Wear your mask. I got mine. And be sure and sanitize everything around you. And can we be more sensitive to people around you? If you don't want to believe in this, believe in that, that's fine. Give people 6 feet. And when you see that racism, kill it. Not the person, the racism. All right, y'all, we can do this. Y'all take care. All right, man. Y'all take care. Y'all take care. Y'all take care. I want to appreciate Michael Lyle Jr. Want to appreciate Todd. Again, y'all give love to Dr. Aki and John Foster. Miss them today. Love hanging out with my sports fellas. For everyone that tuned in, we appreciate y'all as always. And y'all know the deal. Not this, definitely this. Love y'all. Y'all be safe, okay? Talk to you later.